Coming up on day 5 of my narrowboat cruise from the Cropredy Marina on the Oxford Canal to Henley-on-Thames, I come across a truly magnificent brick-built railway bridge, seemingly in the middle of nowhere. I pass through some truly stunning countryside. I encounter a boat jam and a very odd-looking boat on my approach to one of the locks. And the big question is, do I get to my final destination?
Well, that's me leaving Wallingford. The mooring there overnight wasn't too bad. I was a bit concerned when I moored up because there were a lot of, let's say, young people around, and I thought it might get a bit rowdy. Got a little noisy around about 2:30 in the morning, but nothing too bad. So today I'm heading down towards Henley from Wallingford. This means I've got a total of about 26 miles to do, which should take me about 9 hours, judging on my speed yesterday of 3 miles per hour. Not expecting to make Henley tonight, to be honest with you, because it's a long way. It's a long cruise, 9 hours, plus the fact the Environmental Agency have closed Marsh Lock, which is the last lock you need to go through before you get into Henley. Apparently a boat hit the gates and there were some issues there. I checked their website this morning and there's no news about them reopening it, so I don't know what's happening. So I might end up having to moor up around the sort of Shiplake, Wargrave area overnight, and then try and find out what's going on with the lock at Henley. Anyway, heading out, beautiful morning, early start thanks to noisy wildlife, and here we go. Let's just see how far I get. Oh, that's a bit tricky. You do have to keep your wits about you on the river. I thought it was straight on here, and yet there's a sign saying channel around to my left, which looks like the sort of slightly narrow route. But anyway, I'm going to follow that rower and take us through, I think this is Moulsford Railway Bridge just down here. Wow, what a fantastic brick-built bridge in the middle of pretty much nowhere. Lovely construction. Fantastic. Love the brickwork in the arch here. Wow, unbelievable. The first boats of the day that I've seen, apart from a few rowing skiffs, are 3 narrowboats coming up the River Thames. I wonder what they know that I don't know. I wonder where they're off to. Okay, just coming into my first lock of the day. This is Cleve Lock, which is just upstream of Goring. I've been cruising for, well, it must be about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, I think, something like that. That's the longest I've ever cruised without having to do a lock. So let's see, first lock of the day. Is it going to be self-service or is it going to be manned? As it's still early in the morning, I reckon it's going to be self-service. Well, that's Cleve Lock done. That took me 20 minutes, which I don't think is too bad actually. And I'm now on my way to Goring. The next lock is soon. It's in Goring itself. It's Goring Lock. And we're getting into an interesting bit of the River Thames here because it's passing through the Chilterns. So we're going to go through something called the Goring Gap and then head on to Reading. So as I say, we're passing through the Chilterns and it's quite spectacular scenery around here. I've walked a Thames path. And the crazy thing about Thames Path is it's close to the river on this side, going out of Goring or around the Goring area, yet you can't see the river because it's right down in the sort of valley. So I'm sort of looking forward to seeing that. So it should be interesting. Anyway, next stop, Goring Lock. Gorgeous morning out here again. Okay, coming up to my second lock of the day. This is Goring Lock. Again, this is going to be self-service. So, very short distance between Cleeve Lock and Goring Lock. And there's some truly stunning houses along the river here. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic. And hardly anywhere to moor, which is a real problem. Anyway, second lock of the day. Well, that's the second lock of the day done. Did get a bit of help there. Shared the lock with another boat. Now just going through Goring. We've got Goring on the left, Streatley on the right, and just coming up here, I doubt you'll be able to see it. You might catch a glimpse of it in the distance on our left, is George Michael's old house, the mill at Goring, I think it was called. It's just down there, I believe, tucked away. Can't really see it very easy from River Bridge is in the way. Anyway, on we continue down the Thames. Okay, so just crossing under the main railway line here, and if you look ahead you can see the Chilterns, and this is what they sort of call the Goring Gap. It's where the River Thames goes through the Chilterns. You've got the main train line going through here as well, and the roads are going through here as well. So it's, yeah, interesting feature. Interesting lock setup coming up. This is Henley-on-Thames, and you sort of got the weir straight across the Thames here, and the lock is off to the left. So as you're coming down, you sort of think, what's going on here? So let's see if I can find somewhere to moor up. I think there's a couple of boats in front of me waiting to go in, and let's get the third lock of the day done. Hopefully there's going to be a lockie on here today, because I'd really like to talk to a lockie, because they may know what's going on at Marsh Lock, whether or not it actually got fixed yesterday. This doesn't look very good. No room for mooring. There's two boats, as I say, in front. I'm not really going to be able to get in behind them unless there's some moorings over there on my left. It's hard to see. I don't think there is. So I think what I'm going to have to do is hover here. Hopefully somebody's up there sorting it out. There's an umbrella up at the lock on the controls, which is normally a good sign that there's a lockie on. Well, I stand corrected, there's no lockie on. And they're closing the gates on me, so that means there's no room. That's a shame, because I'll have to wait. Well, that's Whitchurch Lock done. Didn't do much of it because a very nice bloke in a boat came up. Bit of a chat to him. Says not the next lock, but the lock at Reading, he reckons, man. So I might find out about the state of Marsh Lock there. Right, onwards down the River Thames. Oh, and there's his boat there. Very nice. Well, that's the lock at Maple Durham done, and the lockkeeper was on, and he's told me that the problem at Marsh Lock has been fixed, so that's really, really good news. It's not on the Environmental Agency website yet, but he said he spoke to the lockkeeper at Shiplake this morning, and he said that the lockkeeper in Henley, Marsh Lock, said it was open and it had been sorted out, so that's excellent news. Right, on we continue. Next, we've got to pass through Reading. Okay, just coming up to Reading Bridge here. This is where you will see one of the biggest number of swans together on the Thames. Always a lot of swans around by this bridge. Incredible numbers. Next bridge is Caversham Bridge, and then just shortly after that I think I've got a lock. Anyway, Reading Bridge and all its swans. Just past Caversham Boat Services, and they've got a Beta Marine sign up. First one that I've actually seen. And this is the new funky footbridge in Reading. Never been over it or even under it. And then coming up ahead is Caversham Bridge. Now I don't know if the book's wrong here, the Nicholson Guide's wrong here. It seems to be marking moorings around this area, but I've seen very little sign of them. I mean, there's some over there possibly. Rather confusingly, before Reading Bridge, where there was moorings marked in the books, there's signs up that says no mooring, and then immediately underneath it there's a sort of sign saying how you can pay for mooring, or that's what it appears to be. So I don't know. Where would you moor in Reading? Could you moor in Reading? There are boats moored up here, but yeah, bit of an interesting one. Anyway, I'm now looking for this lock, which should be just after Caversham Bridge. And of course, on the right here, just before Caversham Bridge, we have what I can only describe, sadly, as the infamous Thames Water Building. Okay, there's a channel sign just after Caversham Bridge, so I assume that's where I go down there. I think that's the weir to the left. Maybe those are moorings that you can pay for over there. I don't know, bit confusing. Right, let's go and find Reading Lock. So I'm approaching Reading Lock in canal tick over speed, which, having gone down the Thames at a faster speed, sounds incredibly quiet. Just don't appreciate just how noisy the engine is when you're sort of going along at a whopping 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. Now, the person I spoke to earlier today said that there was a locky on here today, but I don't know. I can't see yet. Okay, I think I'm coming into Sonning Lock here, which means I'm very close to what I consider home waters. I've got Sonning Lock, I've got Shipplake Lock, and then after Shipplake Lock, that's sort of what I consider almost home waters. Parts of the Thames where I spent a lot of my childhood on, in small boats, canoes, etc. So getting very, very close. Hopefully there's a locky on today. There does actually seem to be some moorings here, which is interesting to say the least. Oh no, I think it's going to be self-service. Right, in we go. Well, that's Sonning Lock done. The closer I get to my final destination, the busier the locks are becoming. We had 3 of us in that lock, and there were 2 boats waiting to go up in it. Next stop, Shipplake Lock. I think Shipplake is manned, that's what somebody told me earlier today, so that should make life a bit easier. Now the bit we're going through now, if I remember correctly, there's lots of sort of little islands and little different channels and a few backwaters and stuff, so I need to keep an eye on the map and make sure that I am following the best route through it. Sonning Bridge coming up, lovely little bridge, single lane going across it, controlled by traffic lights. Many years since I last went through this bridge. Coming up to the penultimate lock of the trip, the lock sign is almost obscured. So this is Shipplate Lock. And after Shipplate Lock, I consider myself on what I would dub home waters, or call home waters. Basically, a bit of the Thames I spent a lot of time on as a kid. It's going to be funny to be back on it in a boat, going through Marsh Lock again. Okay, so that's the penultimate lock done, that Shipplate Lock done. Had to share that with 3 other boats. So there's 4 of us in that lock. That's quite scary. Alright, onwards now to the last lock of the trip, Marsh Lock. This bit of the river here is quite interesting. It does an enormous sort of the rounded side of a D. If you can cut straight across the field here to my left, it's only sort of, you know, several hundred yards, but you do this big wide sweep. Beautiful stretch of river though, stunning. We've got quite a number of boats here heading towards Marsh Lock. I've got 1 in front, I've got about 3 behind me. I'm boat number 5 in the mix. So I would guess it's going to be busy at Marsh Lock. Might take me a while to get through. Hopefully they've got a locky on. As far as I'm aware, they've got a locky on, so that should speed things up. They're normally pretty good at shifting boats through. I've spent many, many hours watching boats go through Marsh Lock. Anyway, some stunning houses around here. Absolutely enormous, wonderful places. And not a sign of any mooring anywhere. Hopefully when I get down into Henley after Marsh Lock, I can moor up there. There's the Tom area, there's Mill Meadows, so hopefully in that area I can find somewhere to moor up. That's the plan anyway. Well, Marsh Lock is clearly operating because I've seen a load of boats come up here that I know have come out of Henley, because they're from Hobbs in Henley, which hires out day boats. So it's open, which is great news. Now this sort of bit of river here really is by sort of home stretch, as it were. I spent a lot of time swimming in here, fishing, canoeing, boating as a kid, and I know this bit of the river really quite well. I've got lots of stories about it, but I'm going to save those for future videos. As we're approaching the lock though, you're going to see on the left a horse bridge, and that is unique on the Thames. There's 2 horse bridges going out to where Marsh Lock is. Marsh Lock is sort of on an island out in the middle. There was originally mills on the right of it and mills on the left of it, and the horse bridge goes out to the island with the lock on, and then on the other side of the lock the horse bridge comes back into the bank. Unfortunately, the horse bridge, which you can just see in the distance up there, that sort of low wooden structure, has been closed now for about 3 or 4 years because it fell into disrepair. It basically got so bad it was unsafe. Then there was a big argument between the Environmental Agency and various other agencies as to who actually owned it and who was responsible for repairing it. It's now been decided it's the Environmental Agency, and they are really quite dragging their feet on the issue. As I say, it's been closed for like 3-4 years possibly now, and the annoying thing is it's part of the Thames Path. Thames Path runs down the river here, went over the horse bridge, through Marsh Lock, and then down on into Henley-on-Thames, and of course nobody's been able to use that route now for years. It's a sort of 2-3 mile diversion going up into the woods. Totally nuts. Okay, we seem to have boats hovering up here. I don't know if that's because there's a huge queue for the lock or what the story is. But anyway, hopefully it's going to resolve itself. Oh, boats turning around. Stunning grounds on the right here, up to a huge house. It's what we call the Ragged Arch Bridge that's on the Wargrave Road. But anyway, I'll show you all of that in a later video. Right, let's get this last lock of the trip done, Marsh Lock. Yep, this is a huge queue for Marsh Lock, and right at the front of it I can see a boat called can't remember what it's called. It's run by Hobbs, Mississippi Princess or something like that. It's got two big fake funnels on it. So that boat on its own is going to fill Marsh Lock. So yeah, it's going to take a while to get through this because there's at least 2 if not 3 boats in front of me. Then there's the Mississippi Princess. So yeah, it's going to take a while. Hopefully the locky is on and can get the job done quickly. Once I'm through Marsh Lock, I'm going to start looking for mooring over on my left. And that will be the end of my 80-mile, 38-lock odyssey from Cropredy Marina down the South Oxfordshire Canal and onto the River Thames. It's been some trip. I'm absolutely exhausted. This is day 5 of it. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been going about 6-7 hours, I guess, something like that. And I just really want to go and tie up and call it quits for the day. Make a cup of tea and sit down. Lovely.
This is a close-up of the closed horse bridge at Marsh Lock. This horse bridge actually forms part of the Thames path, and to complete the path now you have to take a massive diversion through the woods. The bridge has been closed for getting on for 4 years whilst we wait for the Environmental Agency to repair the bridge.
Well, that's over 40 years since I was last in Marsh Lock, and we had a total of 9 boats in there, including the 2 kayaks. Cheers, Ags! And that's it, through Marsh Lock and onto Henley. Now we're going to somewhere to moor up. Fantastic steam powered boat to our right there. Look at that, fantastic. Oh, it's like driving in rush hour, boats everywhere. Let's see if I can get in. I should be able to get in just well, if all else fails, do a hand signal. Sorry for falling through. And that's it, that's me moored up in Henley, 80 miles, 38 locks. I'll give you the full stats later. I'm exhausted, but I finally got here. Okay, so that's it, that's me moored up in Henley. I'm moored about 50 yards, 75 yards from where I used to go fishing with my dad. So, what I did today was, let's see, I did 26 miles and 8 locks, and that took me 8 hours. I was expecting it to take 9. That's an average speed of 3.25 miles per hour. And out of those 8 locks, 3 of them had lock keepers on. All the rest were self-service. So it went well. I'm very, very pleased. I'm pleased to be moored up in Henley. Anyway, if you followed along for this length of time, thanks very much. Hopefully you watched all the other videos. There should be 5 in this because it's actually taken me 5 days to get from Cropredy down to Henley. That's a total of 80 miles and 38 locks. So as I say, thanks for watching this one and hopefully watching the earlier emails. If you've enjoyed sorry, should have said watching these videos, I am tired. If you've enjoyed watching these videos, please don't forget to give them a big like and a subscribe. And on the screen now you will see a QR code. If you scan that QR code, that will take you through to a newsletter about the Great Wagtail. It's all totally free and I only sort of send out an email about once a week. Anyway, thanks for watching for this long. Bye for now.